Well, today is a sad day indeed, as I will be saying goodbye to my S10. I painted Colorado flag on the tailgate. I was hoping it would rust through like that and look all rustic and cool, getting rid of some extra junk in the back. I really wish things had not gone so south, but I mean, this thing really had so many issues. I barely had it for over a year. So if you look on here, you can see the AC lines are rubbing against my hood. Probably because the cab is so sunken down over the frame. Apparently that happens over time. Wrong tire size. One of the tires is flat. One of the wheels got stolen off of it. It's got hail damage. P0300, P0420, B0036. Bad wheel speed sensor. It's got an internal rattle in the mufflers, and now it's misfiring so bad it probably won't run. I think it just doesn't have any compression left. 200,000 miles. The frame is cracked. Take a look in here. You can see that whole distance is supposed to be closed. That's supposed to be flush. So that actually cracked off and got welded back on. And I think this might be our tow guy. There it goes. You know what? Another GM product. Similar year. Not so shocking. Alrighty. Off she goes. Very sad day. I'm gonna miss it a lot. Alright. There she goes. Sad. Adios. Goodbye. Alright, well, we made 250 bucks cash. So the deal with the truck is as follows. I bought it about a year ago in hopes of it being my daily driver, as well as maybe something I could play around with and have a little bit of fun with as well. I was looking online and then I stumbled across a truck. So lesson number one, if a deal seems too good to be true, probably is. Give everything its fair shot. But if you find a deal that is seemingly too good to be true, you need to raise your suspicions up a level or two. Out of everything I was looking at, this thing was very desirable. 4-wheel drive, the price was right, it was even a little under. It had everything. It was a V6, extended cab, ZR2 S10. The ZR2 is basically fully loaded. It had all kinds of nice features. I check it out. The guy, and this is another huge red flag. First of all, shady part of town. This guy is a body shop guy. He's a body technician, which is a problem right off the bat because it doesn't imply it, but this guy had basically this guy had bought the S10 that was damaged in a wreck and planned to flip it or sell it for a profit later. And he was doing this on the side. If the car had been in a fender bender, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm paying $2,600 for this vehicle. Had I inspected the vehicle closely enough, I would have found that it had a cracked frame. Now, there is a spot on the ZR2s that is common for cracking, or that is prone to it. However, it's not common, and it usually means it was abused or in some kind of serious accident. This car had definitely been in a serious accident, and in my opinion, it should have been totaled out. So it should have been sold as a salvage title. But it was a clean title. And I had no maintenance records, nothing. All I had was a clean title and just me driving the vehicle. To be honest with you, I was so excited to get a vehicle, and I loved the way the truck looked, and I just wanted it so bad that, I really ignored some things I shouldn't have. I should have really been much more thorough with my inspection, which is something that I definitely always preach. When it comes to a vehicle that I buy, sometimes I just want it. So, and it really gets me in trouble, or did. Ever since I got this truck, and this has probably nothing to do with the previous owner, it has been just nothing but trouble. It had the check engine light on the whole time for P0420. It developed a coolant leak, so I had to do the intake manifold, gasket, as well as like the spider injectors it has, and I made it into this big deal and did all kinds of stuff. Full tune-up, it needed a battery, it needed the whole front end suspension I had to do, the front brakes, countless things it needed, which I was expecting. I got something to work on. I'm only paying $2,600 for a four-wheel drive truck in Colorado, so I also understand that it's a 200,000 mile truck. I'm gonna get a project, more or less. I bought this vehicle across the street over here, my Miata, for around the same price, and two things have broken on me. Compared to the 27 things on the S10. That's the other thing, is I've dumped all this money into it to fix all these things. It was endless. There was no less than 3 problems on it the whole time I owned the vehicle. It sucked. By the time that this truck was towed away, every system had a fault. SRS system, 4-wheel drive, ABS, the ECM, it's insane. Just a bad deal, bad investment. For the second half that I owned the truck, it was running like trash. It had a P0300, which I couldn't figure out. To be honest, I think what it was a compression or valve issue. Because as you can hear in the previous video, by the time it was picked up, the engine was toast. It was fried. Basically, a week prior to it running like that, it was as normal. And it just slowly kind of started to backfire, misfire a little earlier. I think it just ran out of juice. The rings just couldn't seal anymore, or the valve couldn't seal anymore, or whatever happened. It is what it is. The lessons I learned from this: number one, don't keep putting money into a bad investment like this. My dad kind of made fun of me for all the money that I dumped into this truck. I actually could have financed a nice car. Like, no joke. With how much I put into this thing on average, on a monthly basis. And granted, I learned a lot and I had fun. I'm a car guy. That's what I do. A huge waste of money. The other thing is, always thoroughly inspect a vehicle before you buy it. Because granted, all of the issues it had, the S10 Blazer, that whole chassis is honestly kind of poo-poo. And they have a lot of problems. Like, a lot of the stuff that I ran into were like, oh yeah, that's actually just a common problem that these have. It's like, really? It's 72 problems. And so maybe do your research a little better. I probably still would have gone with the S10. Thoroughly inspect the vehicle. Get under it, get dirty, wear a shirt that can get dirty when you go and check it out, but really dig deep, because that frame damage was only noticeable when I was completely underneath the car. I went in, I crawled down, I go under the car, and I'm looking up, and I just see, I'm like, there is a bunch of crappy welds right here welding this part of the frame back on. And I was like, this thing has been totaled at some point. But anyway, I just got tired of it, started running like that. I wanted to get out of it, so I posted it online for sale for $300 just to see if anyone would come and get it. And the same type of individual that sold me the truck in the first place messaged me interested in it. But frankly, after a while, I was like, this is way too much work, like answering all these questions and trying to set up a time. Let's see what Cash for Clunkers will offer me. I just filled out the thing. They emailed me, or they texted me and said, yeah, we'll give you $250 for that vehicle. And I was like, sold. Come get it. There was a number in the text message that they sent me that I called, and I just set up an appointment, set it right then after work. They came right in front of my house, right there, and snagged it up and handed me cash right in my hand. Not a bad deal, not a bad way to get out of a car if you find yourself in that situation.